In this video, everyone, we go for a drive in our Daihatsu Tanto Custom RS, no less, our Japanese imported KEI car, and give you an update on what's going on. Let's get moving. Fran's back today as the Japanese lady hiding in the glove box, I don't know how she fits in the glove box, is reminding me that we've got no electronic control or electronic toll reader card. I felt like we had to wait a bit longer for the barrier then, because Keiko's quite tall, you know.
Yes.
And we're probably quite dark now because the sun is behind us.
Yes.
So what's it like driving a KEI car in the UK? Well, I guess it's no different to driving a KEI car in Japan, is it? They drive on the same side of the road. Obviously the KEI car we chose is quite a tall car, and one of the questions that I do get asked occasionally is, what's it like going around corners? It's absolutely fine going around corners. There's not a lot of weight to the car, to be fair, and I find that even if I want to be a bit enthusiastic, shall we say, it goes around the corners absolutely fine. It obviously doesn't go around the corners like my Clio, but the Clio, of course, is designed as a track car, so you wouldn't expect it to, but it doesn't roll as much as you think it would. And considering the size of the wheels aren't the biggest, I think they're 15-inch, but I'll put the correct size at the bottom of the video now, they are not too bad on the potholes. They are quite low profile though, and of course in the UK we've got a lot of potholes, so I'm not suggesting that you don't notice them when you go over them. I just try to avoid them where possible. I'm sure everybody does. It's a bit of a game at the moment in the UK because you're having to avoid them quite a lot. You see cars quite often swerving around and you think what's going on there, but actually they're just trying to avoid the potholes. So anyway, we're going to have a little drive. One of the most obvious things I guess I would say about driving this KEI car versus the other cars in the fleet is the indicator, which has got a nice little tinking sound. The indicator is on the right hand side of the steering wheel, not the left. That is a Japanese thing. So of course when I first drove Keiko, there was a little bit of wiper action going on just at that moment where I was about to turn. I think you can work out why. But you get used to it. Get used to it really quick. So all the wipers and everything are on the left hand side, the lights and the indicators are on the right hand side. But of course Keiko has got a CVT automatic gearbox, so you get in, you start, you stick it into drive, and you forget about it, don't you? And then we tootle along quite happily, don't we?
We do.
Fran's that happy, yeah. Just staring at the scenery, aren't you?
That's lovely today. Why not look out of your car at the scenery? Yeah, that's what it's for. It's
gorgeous. Well, they're big windows. It's almost a cinematic view, isn't it? I mean, the windscreen size of this car, oh, it's a big windscreen. It's almost like a van windscreen, but then I suppose some people would say, well, that's because the car looks like a van. Now, already this morning I've had 2 people come over and talk to me about the car, which is nice. I'm always happy. If someone's interested in the car, I'm more than happy to talk to them and bore them to death about what a KEI car is if they don't know what one is. I've had the mix today of one person that just loves the fact that it's a KEI car and it's been imported from Japan and how cool it looks, and another one that liked it, loved the colour, but then in a nice way, not a sarcastic way I don't think, walked off, and as we were just about to walk off he said it looked good in red. Yes, and if it was red, I suppose I'd have to finish the job and put a black and white cat on the dashboard, wouldn't I? You know what I'm saying. But no, it's all good. We do use this car to travel. Most of my family's in Bristol, and we obviously live in Derbyshire, so we travel quite a lot down the M5 to Bristol, and we use this car quite often to do that run. And we found that when we use it, that, well, A, it's really smooth on the motorway, has more than enough power with the 4 of us in the car. It's a very nice drive, it's very economical, it probably gets around 60 miles to the gallon, which I think is absolutely superb. But what I do enjoy, although I didn't buy it for that reason, but what I do enjoy is you're very aware that sometimes, or quite often even, a car will be coming alongside you and they'll be looking, and you can just tell by their face they're thinking, what is it? And I normally look back and just have a little smile. Now, I'm sure there's going to be people that we pass that look at it and laugh at it or whatever. That's fine. There's 8 billion people in the world. It keeps the world going round, doesn't it? I didn't buy this car for everybody to love it, but I do find it fascinating when people look at the car and they're at least wondering what it actually is. I think it's cool. Of course, most of the time in this country at the moment, I look back at them and think, well, I know what yours is. It's just another grey, boring SUV, innit? But hey-ho, I like the fact that this car looks the way it does. Why do I want to be the same as everybody else? And you know, people talk about the environment, but if you want to worry about the environment, folks, you don't need your stupid big SUVs, do you? This car takes up a very small footprint on a car parking space, because remember, cars now struggle to fit in car parking spaces. KEI does not. She fits perfectly easily into car parking spaces. As we've already said, she does really well on fuel, and she's got plenty of space. So I would suggest, for most people, not all, but for certainly many people, don't need anything more, do you? Okay, you could probably hear a bit of road noise at the moment with the road that we're on, but the camera seems really sensitive. The microphone on the camera is an excellent microphone, but it really does pick up things that I don't really notice sometimes until I'm in the edit. But it's so smooth. What a place to be. And look at all the storage space. I'll put a bit of stock video in now. The storage is everywhere. The legroom is phenomenal. Okay, you have a choice of more legroom or more boot space, but you know, it's versatile, isn't it? It'll do almost anything and everything that you want to do. Do you know, in Japan, some of these are available as 4-wheel drive. Can you imagine that? Wow, 4-wheel drive. Of course, I try to keep my cars clean, so I don't think I'd ever be doing off-roading even if KEI was a 4-wheel drive, but 4-wheel drive KEI car. And then you get those little KEI cars, i.e. the low ones, the little sporty ones. Put some images on screen again now. They're really cool. And I would imagine a little bit quicker because they're going to be even lighter than this one, aren't they? So we thought we'd have a drive. We're also going to put in an update. We're going to film a bit of an update of what's going on with KEI and what the next plans are with KEI. Just because we need to be out in the KEI car. We need to do our bit and show the world that big cars are stupid and 9 times out of 10 are unnecessary. KEI cars are where it's at. There's been a couple of lovely Honda N boxes for sale on eBay, and I confess I've been looking at them because they're like, oh wow. They're cars that have been recently imported, so all that registration stuff that I did for KEI, which I'm glad I did it with the help of companies of course, but I'm glad I did it myself. But these cars are already ready to sort of pick up, no wait. And one N box was the same colour as KEI car. I do like the Honda N box. The N box is very similar. Just had someone staring at the car. The N box is very similar to the Tanto. Wouldn't mind an N box. In fact, I will confess on camera now, the car I'm absolutely lusting over, but is lusting the right word now? I'll lust over you instead. I'll do that again, but I'll keep it in the video anyway because I don't care. A car I really love, and I've been looking at ways that I could possibly one day do it. I'll put it on screen now. What a car. I would really love one, everyone, and in the colour that I put on screen. I've even been trying to work out how I would order one as a brand new car and get it imported over. But just to be clear, even if I am ever lucky enough to get one imported, I'm not going to sell KEI because I absolutely love this car. So just before we go and show you what's been done to KEI, I'll just leave you with this little thought, and that is, if I'm not going to sell KEI, what will happen? I think I've said it before on video. What will happen when we get to the point where I can only have, I don't know, 2 or 3 cars? And I know I still feel lucky that I can have 2 or 3 cars. What will those cars be? I can guarantee what 2 of them would be. It's KEI that we're sitting in now, and our little Smart 450 I genuinely can't see how I could ever bring myself to sell either of them. Even though, considering I love classic cars, they are, relatively speaking, modern. And they're certainly nowhere near the 40-year-old free road tax and no MOT thing that we get in the UK, but I just couldn't see myself selling them.
1 minute 37 seconds later.
So the first thing is, we tried a product called Odor X. It's made by Turtle Wax. When the KEI came from Japan, we realised that well, there'd been a dog inside the car quite a lot. Now, we love dogs, don't get me wrong, but there was smell of doggers everywhere, and we just wanted to see if we could get KEI smelling nice and sweet again. Odor X worked really well. I'll put a little inset video in now. It's done the job really good, and to be honest, 3 months later it still smells really good in the car, so I'd recommend that one. Then it was MOT time for KEI, so of course we've had her MOT'd and she's passed with no advisories, which I guess is no surprise because she's part of the fleet, the semi-retirement home for cars. But then I thought while we were there that we would get the car treated underneath, because, well, they don't salt the roads in Japan, do they? And underneath KEI is just, well, it's like new, to be honest, and we want to protect it because, of course, we do salt the roads in the UK, and we are using this car sometimes as a family car. So we have treated it, and we've used a product called Waxol, same Waxol as we used in this video for Felicity, the Ford Fiesta.
Should have used Lanogard.
What's that?
Lanogard's better.
Yep. So we've used Waxol because I like Waxol. I'm a bit old-fashioned. What? Yeah, ignore. I like Waxol, a bit old-fashioned. If you look at the reviews online, you'll see that there's mixed reviews. Some people prefer Lanogard. Yes, Lanogard. I know Lanogard exists. Shut up. So I know Lanogard exists. I actually like Waxol, and as I've said, I'm old-fashioned. So we have treated KEI to a good Waxoling underneath, which should afford some protection. But the main thing, or should I say the last thing in this video, is there were scratches. We knew there were scratches on the car because you get a detailed report. I'll put it on screen now, showing you, oh, and lots of high resolution pictures, showing you all the marks before the car comes from Japan. But as you know, I am fussy with my car, so all four corners have got marks. One side skirt has got scratches, and the bonnet had got a scratch. So we've had them all done, and I'm going to show you now. Now I'll also put a little inset now showing you the colour cards that my paint guy had to try and match this car, because although we've got the code for the car, it was very difficult to match the paint. In fact, the rear quarters on this car, when we first picked it up, or I should say at least one rear quarter, always looked very slightly different, and you're trying to match that colour. But basically the bumpers have been painted. I don't know if the sun's going to allow you to see that on camera. The side skirt has been painted. The rear bumper has been painted, because I'll try and put some inset pictures in the best I can to show you what it looked like before. So again, you'll see there, all nice and shiny. Now I'm very happy with the colour match, but my paint guy is quite fussy, which I like. So obviously in different lights you're probably going to tell, and there's probably a photograph that's been on screen by now where you can tell, but the car looks absolutely fantastic in my opinion. The most important one, and I have got a good photo of this, is that there was a dent here, and although we got the dent guy out to do a couple of minor dents at the side of the car, he couldn't get this one out because of where it was. So that one has been repaired, and as you can see, is now looking absolutely stunning. That's it then everyone, thanks for watching. I think the next plan for KEI is simply to look after her, and we've got to try and find a trusted gearbox specialist, because I do want someone to have a look at the seal at the bottom of the CVT gearbox fitted to KEI, because as we noticed when the car went to Smart-TECHNIC, Ben quickly noticed, and I obviously quickly noticed straight after because he told me, that there was a very slight weepage coming from the seal, so it obviously needs a gasket. Now, getting that gasket may or may not be easy, although the engine is fitted to quite a few cars, not just the Tanto. But I just need to find a gearbox specialist that is trusted, that I can take Keiko to. Maybe you know a trusted gearbox specialist in the sort of Derbyshire area, or maybe beyond. I don't mind travelling for the right person. If so, let me know in the comments below. But although it is simply just a minor weepage, the reality is it's not quite right, is it? And we need to get Keiko sorted. Anyway, you've heard this from me enough today, and not enough of the Tamworth onion.
No.
So on that,
No.
thank you very much for watching. Enjoy whatever it is you're driving.
See you on the next one.
See you on the next one. Still nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tootling along.
Yeah.
This car is equally happy to tootle around town as it is flying down a trunk road or a motorway. It doesn't faze it at all, not in the slightest. Them 64 Japanese turbocharged horses do the job, and they do it really well.